Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So today we will be continuing our topic professional ethics and we will be discussing clause by clause each and every clause which are remaining. Okay, so before I proceed, you guys can if you guys have any doubt, then you can post the question in the chat box wherein I will be taking up the doubt and will reply you accordingly. And if you do not have any doubt, you can like at later point in time, if you have any doubt, okay, then you can ask that doubt also. Okay, so either you can post now or at any point in time during the lecture you can ask the doubt. Okay, don't wait for the till the end of the lecture. And remember, the more the doubt you will ask, the more better understanding you will be getting of the topic. So don't think that asking the doubt will be just like how to ask a silly doubt, whether we should ask a doubt or not. So silly doubts, no, that is not the thing. You can ask your doubts freely. Okay, and I hope everyone has revised or actually went through whatever we have discussed till now. Reason because see, after each and every lecture you need to go back to the study material, you need to read those things, you need to whatever we have discussed, whatever clause we have discussed, so that you can get a good understanding of the topics that we have already discussed. Otherwise, what will happen is today I am, just we are discussing over here whatever topics they are. Let's say, for example, professional ethics. Now, once I will discuss, if you don't go and look to the topic, look back to the topic after completion of the lecture, what will happen is that when at a later point in time when you go at the topic, you might forget what we discussed in the class. So it may break your link, and it will create a problem for you that it will take time to revise again, to to come to that particular mode where you can remember all the things that were discussed from that particular session. So I'll suggest after each and every session, revise the topic and try to read whatever we are discussing before start of the lecture. Like for example, once you are revising the topic, then keep a habit of reading forward of whatever we are going to discuss in the lecture. So what will happen is you will read before, we will discuss in the class, and then you will revise again. The level of understanding after that you will receive, it will be will be amazing. Okay, so don't miss that particular thing. Don't miss that particular thing. I'll suggest start revising, start follow reading things, and accordingly see you will gain a good understanding. Okay, so let's start the discussion. Now, in last lecture, I'll just provide you a brief, summary that, okay, we started with the first schedule. We went through the summary for the part one with 12 clauses. Now, we will be, going, we went then clause 1, 2, 3, 4 together. Now, we will be going with clause 5. Okay. Now, what is clause 5 basically? Clause 5 talks about that a chartered accountant practice if he secures his services either through a person who is not an employee of such chartered accountant or who is not a partner or by means which are not open to a chartered accountant. In that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So if he is securing work through the means which are not open to a chartered accountant. Clause 5. CA in practice secure either through the service of persons specified below or through means which are not open to CA, means which are not open to chartered accountant. Okay. So if he is trying to secure service, through the service of person specified below or through means which are not open to CA, but what he is trying to secure, any professional business, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, who are the specified person over here? Specified person means he is trying to secure the service through these people. Okay. Now, in a specified person, we have a negative list, kind of. Okay. Uh, these are not these in the specified person list or person specified. Other than that, they are. So, for example, who is not employee of such chartered accountant and who is not partner of this chartered accountant. Okay. Plus agreement permitted under clause 234 is also out of the scope. So you can say specified person will include agreement as per clause 2, 3 and 4. If you do an agreement which are specified already in clause 2, 3 and 4, then it is fine. So specified person means who is not, it's a negative list. Means if I can say that arrangement with these is permissible, or like I am allowed, or there is no issue if I do a arrangement with these people. So arrangement with these are permittable. No, other than this. So for example, if I'm securing the work who is not an employee, not a partner, or not the person specified as in clause 234 or arrangement in clause 234, then it is a problem for me. If I'm securing the business or any professional work through my employee, partner, or through any arrangement as per clause 234, that is fine. Understand? So it should be who is not employee, partner, or agreement as per, not a agreement as per clause 234, other agreements. I hope it is clear. Okay. So that is clause 5. Now, uh, so I should not be securing business or service or any professional business, not only audits, but it is any professional business. Okay. Any doubt with respect to this? Okay. Now, clause 6. What clause 6 says that? Clause 6 says that if a chartered accountant in practice solicits client or professional work either or directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, interview, or by any other means, then okay, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. However, there are exceptions given. We will see that. Okay. So first, CA in practice, securing or rather than soliciting, CA in practice solicits clients or professional work either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, okay, interview, or any other means. So if he does, then he is guilty of professional misconduct. Exception already given. Okay. Exception to the above is that any chartered accountant can apply or request for inviting or securing professional work from another chartered accountant in practice. So, CA in practice can apply or request. Another CA in practice. So if I do a personal communication to another CA in practice to secure the work, then it is fine. Second, member, a member can, like chartered accountant in practice, can respond to tenders, inquiries issued by various users of professional services, okay, or organizations from time to time, and he can secure professional work as a consequence of applying the tender. However, there are guidelines issued for applying to the tender, and we'll see that. But CA in practice can apply to tender or inquiries issued by various users, but subject to other conditions. Now, this subject to other conditions is very important. Reason because we need to understand what are these conditions, and then on the basis of that, we can say, okay, subject to these conditions, he can apply to tender and inquiries. Okay. So what are these conditions? These conditions are specified by the council as a part of the guidelines. Now, in that, a member of institute in practice cannot respond to a tender issued by an organization, okay, or any person in areas which are exclusively reserved for a chartered accountant. So, what the conditions are? Conditions for tender, we'll write it here. So conditions for tender. CA in practice cannot apply tenders issued, okay, uh, in areas of service which are exclusively reserved for CA, like audit. Let's say, for example, tomorrow if someone raises a raises a tender, or raises an inquiry with respect to statutory audit, I am in that case I cannot apply for that. Okay, I cannot apply that apply that tender in that case. Sorry. Sorry. Hmm. Okay. So in areas of service which are exclusively reserved for chartered accountants, areas for service exclusively reserved for chartered accountants, like statutory audits, audits which are and tax audits, or any such area which is exclusively reserved for chartered accountants. In that case, we cannot apply for the tender. So important is cannot apply. However, again there is exception to this. Exception says that we can apply, okay, where minimum fees of the assignment is prescribed in the tender document itself, okay, and where the areas are open to other professionals along with chartered accountants. So we can apply to the tender provided two conditions, like, or that any of the one condition gets satisfied. Number one, minimum fee should be prescribed in the tender document. Minimum fees should be prescribed under tender document, or areas are open to other professional also. Then there should be minimum fees if I want to apply. Understand the thing. So either it should be minimum fees or it should be area open to all. Then only I can apply to the tender. Otherwise, I cannot apply to a tender. And this is the or. So I can say that in these conditions, CA in practice can apply uh, to any tender if these conditions are satisfied. Okay. So we have few doubts. Can you give an example of clause 5? See, clause 5 is securing either through the service of person specified below, through means which are not open to CA, any professional business. Okay. Let's say, for example, yeah, remember yesterday we discussed one example. Just let me show you. This 12 number. Remember, Mr. A was tax accountant. He is neither partner, neither employee or partner or anyone falling under clause 2, 3, and 4. If that is the case, and if I'm securing work through this person, then I will be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 5. Classic example. So I am securing business through means which are not open to me, or through persons who are either not an employee, not a partner, or any arrangement which is under clause 2, 3, 4. If that is the case, then clause 5 will also get attracted. I hope this example is a classic example that we discussed yesterday itself. Second question or doubt we have is, can you explain these words that provided nothing here contained shall be construed as preventing and prohibiting? Uh, can you just explain from where where these words are located and which para you are referring to? If you are referring in the study material. Okay. Another question is, sometimes we see a CA conducting seminars or online meeting based on various topics. Is it a professional misconduct? Answer is no. And why? We'll understand in a while. Just we are coming to that topic only. Don't worry. So we'll understand in a while that why conducting online seminars or sessions is not a professional misconduct. Okay. So the wordings that provided nothing here contained shall be construed as preventing and prohibiting on page number 19.49 in clause 6. Basically, kind of an exception that I'm already written over here. Means it says that, okay, the above conditions, okay, like for example, the above conditions will not apply to the below 2 points. Means provided nothing herein shall be construed as a preventing or prohibiting. Means it will not be understood, or it will not be construed that, okay, this is prohibiting or preventing. Clause 6. So it is talking about clause 6. That provided nothing herein means provided nothing in clause 6 will be understood that it is preventing or prohibiting a chartered accountant from applying to another chartered accountant in practice, or from applying or responding to tenders or inquiries subject to the conditions. Okay. I hope I have explained your doubt, Shankara. Any further doubts, guys? Any further doubts? Okay. Now, uh, see, there are few things that we need to discuss. What will amount to a circular, what will amount to a personal communication, advertisement, interview, and all those things. So we need to understand one by one what will contain this and what are the terms and conditions, or guidelines given for these particular areas. Okay. Now, if I advertisement of a coaching, teaching activities, okay, I'm a member in practice, I'm advertising coaching and teaching activities, that will amount to indirect solicitation. So see the word over here, directly or indirectly. So we need to understand what indirectly is. When I say indirectly, indirect solicitation. Okay. So basically what will happen is, if I'm indirectly soliciting clients, kind of, okay. So if I'm advertising my coaching activities, if CA in practice advertise his coaching slash teaching activities, then he will be considered to to solicitate the uh, the professional work, or this will be considered to indirect solicitation. Okay, and it will be considered to indirect solicitation. Okay, and therefore guilty of professional misconduct under clause 6 of any professional work. So if there is an indirect solicitation, then again it will be guilty of professional misconduct because he is soliciting through advertisement. So that is again not allowed. So here he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Now, what will cover this, like how I know advertisement coaching activities, advertising through hoardings, posters, banners, YouTube videos and all those things. Yes, I will be, counted as that I am advertising indirectly. CN practice is advertising indirectly to solicit any professional work. Now, so this particular kind of advertisement is not allowed, kind of, you can say. So we will also see which are the other businesses permissible for a CA in practice. Over there, we'll see that okay, how teaching and CA in practice go hand in hand. That we will see. Okay. The next point that I want to discuss is about advertisement in note and press. So let's discuss about the advertisement. If an advertisement is required to be issued in note and press, usually members should not advertise for soliciting work. Okay. Or advertise in a manner which could be interpreted as a soliciting or offering to undertake professional work. But exceptions are there. Usually members uh, should not advertise for soliciting the work. However, However, we saw that advertising or requesting another chartered accountant is allowed. So let's say, for example, we are requesting another chartered accountant, then that is allowed. We are advertising change in partnership firm, dissolution of firm, or change in address of such firm, telephone numbers, that is allowed. So exception to the advertisement thing is advertisement of change in partnership firm and its details like address, phone number, or change in place, something like that. Dissolution. So that should be allowed. That is allowed. But again, it should contain bare statement and facts. And should contain bare statement and facts. Okay. If I give you an example, what it means basically, let's say this is an advertisement. Okay. So in this advertisement, I need to write a bare statement. Let's say this is the advertisement in a newspaper. What I need to do, what a member in practice should do. Let's say, for example, we need to write ABC and company has changed its place of business from XYZ to DEF. That's it. A bare statement. However, however, the following is an example which is not allowed. This is something you can do. Bare statement kind of. But what is not allowed or kind of, I'll show you with an example. Okay, I'll write ABC and company, best CA firm in town, now located at DEF. See, like I put a logo, I put something, best firm to work for, best firm, something like that. I can even, some people say best firm to work for. So they post that, okay, this is the best firm to work for, something like that. Okay, if that is a scenario, in that case, things appear or things, we are soliciting something which is not allowed basically. What I'm doing is I'm soliciting, about uh, my firm. I'm advertising about my firm. I'm soliciting the clients. So by showing that, okay, this is the best firm to work, or this is something the best firm of 2022 or something like that. That is not allowed. Okay. So if I'm soliciting through advertisement can be allowed if there is a change in partnership of something, provided it's a bare statement and facts, nothing else. Then it is fine. Otherwise, not. Second exception is a member is also issued. A member is also allowed to issue a classified advertisement in general or a newsletter of the institute. Okay, intended to share or give professional work on assignment basis. So I can advertise to give, member can advertise to share professional work, okay, on assignment basis in newsletter of institute. Okay, not any other newsletter of institute. Again, this should not be in the case, okay, I'm showing that, okay, it's a bad CA firm looking for someone to advertise, looking for someone to, share the professional work or something like that. It should be again limited to the factual position, bare facts of the scenario. details not required kind of. Okay, and should not contain details which are usually not required. Okay, so we have one doubt, that is, uh, we have seen many practicing CA advertising about their coaching classes. How that is allowed, sir? My doubt is those famous CAs who are advertising about their coaching classes won't be in practice. They shouldn't be in practice. Otherwise, it's a professional misconduct. If you are advertising about your coaching activities or teaching activities, that will tantamount to indirectly soliciting work through advertisements or through any other means, and that will be, again, that chartered accountant in practice can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, another doubt is, explain the difference between solicitation and securing professional work through service of person. Solicitation through circular, advertisement, or through any other means, and securing professional work through any person. Both are different. Like, in one end, I am doing advertisement. In second end, I am reaching to a person. So both are different. And one is clause 6 and clause 5. So if a firm advertise, we offer so much of service at so and so location at minimum charges, is it prohibited? Where you are advertising such a thing? That depends. Number two, minimal services or minimal charges kind of creates a thing that you are charging less compared to other firms, and hence it is not as per the advertisement guidelines. That could be, in that case, the firm or the CA in practice could be held guilty of professional misconduct. Any other doubt, guys? Any other doubt? Any other doubt? So that was with respect to the advertisement. Okay. Then application for empanelment or allotment of audit or professional work. Okay. So there are lot many departments and lot many government companies who open the empanelment. Let's, for example, even RBI, even a lot of empanelment forms are open. Okay. Empanelment for the chartered accountants, they prepare a list for the allotment of audit. For example, uh, cooperative housing society registrar. Okay, now in that case, if we have knowledge that the empanelment is open, we can apply for the empanelment. However, if I'm writing to that person or to that authority without having the knowledge whether the empanelment form is open or not, that will tantamount to roving inquiries. And that is something not proper for the chartered accountant to do that. So if a chartered accountant makes any roving inquiries, then he can be held guilty of professional misconduct, because that will be considered as an advertisement. Okay. So let's understand roving inquiries. In case of roving inquiries, if CA in practice, if CA in practice make any inquiry to any person or authority kind of, okay, by what he's making inquiry about, application, inquiry about application, or having his name included in any panel, okay, in any panel without having knowledge of that panel. Without having knowledge of such panel. In that case, that he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Then that will be professional misconduct, and this will tantamount to roving inquiries. What I mean is that when I am applying to a particular, authority or any person, if I write an application or I ask them to include my name in any panel that they are maintaining, then I should have a knowledge that okay, the panel is open now and they are seeking the applications. But if I provide any application at the time when they are not seeking the application, that is again advertisement, kind of a roving inquiries, and that will be tantamount to professional misconduct. Or application or having his name. Apologies for my writing. Okay. Application or having his name included uh, in any panel. Okay. Publications of books and articles. Will that be counted as my advertisement and articles? Publication of book and article usually is not permissible for a member. Member cannot publish a book or article, okay, or presentation made by him or any professional attainments, okay, in the name of firm basically. So it is not permissible for a member to mention in a book or an article or a presentation made by him any professional attainments, or whether the member or the firm of chartered accountants with whom he is associated. So I cannot give the details of my firm. I cannot give details of my professional attainments. I cannot give any details which could be counted as I am promoting my firm or my attainments in any of the book article. So I cannot publish that article. Okay, but if I'm not doing that, then I can publish. So articles, articles slash publications slash presentations should not contain uh, professional attainments, then details of firm, details of firm, or you can say any details which could which could consider to be a promoting his firm. Other details in nature of promotion. Then in that case, uh, you are not allowed to publish that article, publication, or presentation. If that is not the case, means these things are not present in an article, publication, or presentation, you are fine to publish it. Now the question is, these are the conditions or the clauses are applicable for a CA in practice. Are these applicable to a CA in service also in an equal way? See, there are clauses which are applicable to CA in service and CA in general also. So we need to see those particular clauses also. But as of now, these guidelines and these clauses are applicable to CA in practice, what we are discussing. Then issue of greeting cards. So again, greeting cards, personal invitations by the member indicating their status, qualifications, professional designations is not allowed. Okay, they can mention the name, designation as a charter accountant, for like invitation in marriages or religious ceremonies or something like that. But that should be only sent to clients and relatives or friends of members, but not to someone else. So limited to charter accountant is allowed on the greeting cards or invitations, but I cannot put any of the professional designation, status, qualification, or any of such details. So following are not allowed on greeting cards. Again, professional details, yeah, designation like partner of XYZ firm, quality control partner, partner of proprietor or owner of this particular firm, like this way. Then status, kind of any kind of status. Then qualifications, other qualifications. Okay, along with the qualification of charter accountant. Then you can say other details in nature of promotion. In that case, that is not allowed on greeting cards. Same goes with the advertisement of a silver, golden, platinum, jubilee, or celebrations kind of thing. So if any such advertisement is done, then then that should be with respect to that, it should not tantamount to promotion or advertising. Like we are not promoting our firm. We are just okay. Let's say for example, if we want to invite our clients or our some relatives, okay, on a particular occasion, then we may publish in a newsletter that okay, this firm is celebrating this particular silver globe, golden jubilee, or whatever it is. But we should not be giving any details which would tantamount to soliciting work or kind of a promotion. That is not allowed. Then comes the sponsoring activity. A member in practice or a chartered accountant firm is not permitted to sponsor an event other than the events where events are organized by programming organizing unit of ICAI and prior approval of CPE directorate of ICAI has been obtained. So sponsoring event, CA in practice or firm not allowed to sponsor. Are not permitted to sponsor any event. Exception, event organized by, you can say event by POU, that is a program organizing unit of ICAI, with, okay, with prior permission. You need prior permission from CPE Directorate. Of ICAI. Okay. In that case, you can do, otherwise not. Now, there are other things also. For example, sharing of firm profile with prospective clients. Okay. Now, if the prospective clients has inquired about the profile, then only you should share. Otherwise, you should not. When a chartered accountant is associated with a television or movie credits, in that case, only the name or firm of the chartered accountant should be there in the television credit, and that should be in a similar manner, in a similar way, like other member firms or other, people's names are appearing. Okay, then so there is a clause that acceptance of original professional work by member emanating from client introduced to him by another member. Okay, what is the scenario here is, let's say for example, some of a member has introduced a client to you. I am CA. My friend was a CA in practice. We both are CA in practice. Okay. Now that my friend introduced a client to me. Okay. For some professional work. Fine. Now that client has approached me again for some other professional work. Okay. Directly, not through that person, not through my friend, but directly. In that case, it's my duty to ask that client, please come through that friend, that my friend, because otherwise, it is not good on my account that I am directly now accepting any professional work from you, because at the first instant, my friend that who is CA in practice or a member, he introduced you to me for this particular kind of work. Now, if I'm doing any other work of from you, then my friend should be aware in that case, or that other member should be aware. In that case, it was council decided that the member should not accept any professional work emanating from a client which was introduced to him by any other member. Okay. My mistake. Thank you, Charu. Articles publication present should not, okay, should not contain. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting. Okay. Uh, Another question is, how a particular website is advertising CAs about their coaching classes. How that is possible? They are not in practice. Okay. Then I have a general doubt. For example, a person has a qualification of MBA, MCON, and CA, not in practice, and is working as a manager in XYZ company. Is he allowed to use these qualification in his wedding invitation? Like, for example, Mr. XCA, MBA, MCOM, manager of XYZ. As of now, the advertising guidelines which are there is applicable to member in practice. Okay. And why these guidelines are there? Because not to solicit any work. If I talk about the particular clause which we are discussing, that talks about soliciting clients or professional work. For a member in service, there is nothing, soliciting clients, because he don't have a client. He is working in a company. So there is no discussion about soliciting client or professional work through advertisement. What is the professional misconduct? Or professional misconduct is if I'm soliciting work through advertisement, directly or indirectly. Now, in some cases, these are the scenarios like, roving inquiries, publications, issue of credit cards, sponsoring event could tantamount to indirect solicitation of work through advertisement. In case of member in service, as of now, I will not get any client because I'm not in practice. Okay. So how will I solicit? Like if I solicit also, like what I will do after soliciting, because I will not get the client, I will not perform any engagement other than what I'm doing for my company. So as of now, you can say these guidelines are applicable for advertisement by member in practice. So there is another question. A CA firm goes for spreading awareness about CA courses around the city as various schools and colleges. Will this tantamount to advertisement or CSR? See, there is a program that institute runs wherein we charter accountants, okay, act as a kind of guiding these students with respect to the CA courses. However, we need to understand what we are doing while spreading awareness. If while spreading the awareness, I'm disclosing my firm details, I'm disclosing the details in such a way that I'm making my firm known in the public, that will tend amount to advertisement or soliciting work indirectly through advertisement or through any other means. So I need to understand what is the thing I'm doing. And if through any indirect means I'm exposing the name of my firm, or I'm disclosing the name of my firm address in a such a way that later on people should know, okay, this is the firm who is doing this. Or if I'm doing to make a image, good image of my firm in the public, or make my firm visible, then that's a problem. Very important one. The next one which I'm going to discuss, educational videos. Educational videos are permitted to be uploaded on internet. Okay. Provided they are permitted, provided it should not contain, or you can say, provided it should not have details like uh, firm's name, contain firm's detail. Okay. Details of address, website, which would tantamount to advertisement. So I can publish, upload educational videos, but it should not contain these details. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? Any doubt, guys? Again, Okay, thank you. Uh, Thank you, Pooja. Okay, now clause 7. This was clause 6. We'll move to the now clause 7. Okay, what clause 7 is saying about. Now, see, again, there is a difference between clause 6 and 7. I just will repeat the clause 6. Clause 6 talks about soliciting client through advertisement, circular, and professional communication, interview, or through any other means. We are talking about soliciting clients. Whereas in clause 7, what I'm talking about, CA in practice, okay, should not advertise, or if a CA in practice advertise his professional attainments, services, use designations, expressions other than charter accountant on professional documents, visiting card, letterhead, signboards, okay, in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So, CA in practice advertise his professional attainments or services or uses any designation or expression other than chartered accountant. Okay, on professional documents. I'm not writing, visiting cards, letterhead, signboards, and everything, but it's concluded in professional documents. Okay, if he does that, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, there are exceptions to this. If uh, the particular, what do you say, expression or designation, if expression or designation is, degree of a university is degree of university which is established, university established by law in India, not outside India. Then, or if the expression or designation is recognized, okay, sorry, not yet. If the expression or designation is kind of, any other institute's membership or title. So, title indicating membership, title indicating membership of the institute or any other institute that has been, okay, that has been recognized by central government or council. So, title indicating membership of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I have usually written, we normally write the institute or any of any other institute that has been recognized by the central government or maybe recognized by the council. So in that case, that is fine. If I use the expression of designation, that is degree of a university established by law in India or recognized by central government, that is fine. If I use the expression of designation, which is a title indicating membership of the institute or any other institute that has been recognized by central government or council, then that is fine. Otherwise, I cannot advertisement my professional attainment services or use any designation or expression other than chartered accountant on professional documents. Clear? Now, with respect to this, using the other designation, there is a section also that I want to discuss. That's a section 7 that we did not discuss last time because I wanted to discuss with this particular clause. Section 7 of the Act. Section 7 of the Chartered Accountant Act says that member in practice cannot use any other designation that of a chartered accountant, nor he can use any other description, okay, in addition or substitution, therefore, of a chartered accountant who is in practice. So, same thing, section 7 also says same thing, that CA in practice cannot use any designation other than CA. Okay, including description. However, exceptions are also provided in this particular section. That is, member not in practice, member not in practice, and not using designation of CA can use any other designation. If these two conditions are satisfied, then he can use any other designation. Okay. Second, again, if there are certain things, if there is something which is recognized by council, then that can be used. If that is allowed by the council, then that is fine. Now, there are few things which are, again, decided by the council from time to time. For example, merchant banker or advisor to an issue. Whether a CA can use the title of merchant banker or advisor to an issue. Generally, members apply for the registration with category 4 merchant bankers with SEBI. Okay. In that case, yes, CA can, now in the name of a chartered accountant firm or chartered accountant can be mentioned in the category of merchant banker on the offer document. That is allowed. But that should not appear prominently. It should not be like, bold letters, big letters. Okay, the rest of the offer document is size 11, font 11. But name of the CA or CA firm, it is font size, you can say 16, 20, 24, appearing prominently. So that is not allowed. So merchant banker, advisor to an issue, fine. But that name should not appear prominently. But name should not appear prominently in your offer documents. Next is directors of the company, member of political parties in position in club. Okay. Members who are directors of company, members of political party, or uh, members, of any committee or clubs holding different positions, they cannot use the term chartered accountant with those positions. So directors of companies, members of political party, position in club, society, etc. Okay, these should not be used with designation of chartered accountant. Okay. Now there is small thing that I want to discuss. Section 7 usually talks about a member in practice, but a member who is not in practice, not using designation of CA, can use any other designation. So in this case, if I am not in practice, but I am using my designation as a CA, so I am in service using the designation of a CA and using the designation of director of companies, member of political parties, still I will be guilty under section 7. So this would cover your member in service also. This will cover member in service using designation of charter accountant. Okay. So this will cover member in service using the designation of charter accountant also. Tanisha, if you know, then yes, it will be professional misconduct. I don't know why I'm keep doing the same problem every time. Should not be. Okay, not. Yeah, not. Should not be used with the definition of charter accountant. Okay. Now, with respect to this particular point that we are discussing, now the point is how we do that, how we use the destination, how we disclose the qualifications. I'll show you one example. Let's say, for example, Mr. Harshad Tekwani, my name. Okay. Then, can I mention my qualifications? Yes, because I'm not using the designation of CA, I'm not in practice. I can say, okay, LLB plus CFE. Then I can mention ACA. Again, I'm not using the designation of a chartered accountant. I'm showing my membership as an associate member with the institute. Okay, that is the thing. I'm showing my membership over here. So, if I'm entitled to membership of such other institute of accountancy, whether in India or elsewhere, which is recognized by the council, or any other qualification that maybe recognized by the council, then I can use that qualification when I'm not using the designation of a charter accountant. So if I'm not using the designation of charter accountant, then it is fine. But if I use this CA Harshad Tekwani, then I write that okay, cost accountant, corporate lawyer, or any other such designation. In that case, this is incorrect because I am using the designation of a charter accountant. Let's say, for example, along with the cost accountant over here, I also mention charter accountant. Then that's a problem because this is a designation of CA, which I cannot use along with other designations. I cannot say chartered accountant, cost accountant, corporate lawyer, this, that, those. No, no. It should be if I'm using my qualifications and memberships, that is separate thing. This is a membership. I'm an associate member. I am associate member. Okay. So where I'm showing my membership of institute and where the memberships, which are recognized by the council, then that is fine. But I cannot use the designation. Designation, membership, qualification, understand the difference between all the three. This is the qualification. And this is the designation. Chartered accountant, cost accountant, lawyer, company secretary. Okay, these are the designations. So I cannot use the designation. Section 7 specifies about the designation other than chartered accountant. Clear? Any doubt? So that is a usually basically difference between both. Okay. So that is a usually difference between both, and that is the section 7 that was I was talking about. Now coming back to my clause 7. Okay. Now clause 7 says that what it was prohibiting, that I cannot advertise my professional attainments. Okay. Services or use any designation, expression other than chartered accountant on professional document. There are permission given by the member. Members are permitted to mention a title on their visiting card indicating membership of a foreign institute of accountancy, which has been recognized by the council. Again, I am permitted to mention membership. Again, not the designation. That is a separate thing between both. Okay. Can I mention date of setting up of the practice on letterhead or professional documents? Okay. So the date of setting up of the practice or firm should not be mentioned. That should not be mentioned on my professional documents. Can I practice as an advocate or a chartered accountant simultaneously? No. I cannot practice as an advocate or chartered accountant simultaneously. We will see in another clause also which are the permitted business for a chartered accountant practice, but the same is also not allowed by the bar council and their guidelines. Practicing as a company secretary, cost management accountant along with chartered accountant, no. Using the designation of a company secretary along with the chartered accountant, no. Can I use the definition of a cost management accountant along with chartered accountant? Answer is no. Okay. Okay. Uh, what can I mention on my professional documents then? Now, see, if if I am, mentioning the bare details of my firm, like name of the firm, address of the firm, phone number, telephone, email ID, website, that is fine. Another other thing, other things, then this particular, detail would tantamount to kind of a advertising. For example, ranked number one in the city, charges minimal fees, best CA firm in town with so many partners, XYZ charter accountant, number of partners this, number of employees this. These things are not required on a professional document usually. Okay. So these things will be tantamount to advertisement of your professional attainment or services or any designations or expressions. Okay. So even on my reports, on my certificates that I issue as a chartered accountant or a firm. Okay. Now I should not mention details which kind of a promotional in nature. So that is not allowed. Appearing on electronic media, we saw about the videos and uploading on the YouTube or other websites. But if I am uploading any video, I'm appearing on the electronic media, including internet, including TV or something like that. Fine, if I'm giving my opinion, I'm discussing something, okay, on a technical topic. But having said that, if I mention the special, if I mention name of the firm, that is fine. But if I make any of the claim, exaggerated claim, any kind of comparison, any kind of detail, which creates a distinguishing mark in my firm's name, or it creates a a different kind of picture of my firm in that interview, media, video, or whatever it is. If I try to gain publicity, if I try to gain any of the attention of the users to the firm's name or to the services provided by the firm or any kind of promotional thing, then that is not allowed. Okay. So basically, these are the things which are required to be taken care. See, clause 7 talks about advertising. We need to understand whatever activity. There could be numerous scenarios, where we could advertise. But at the end, you need to understand that numerous areas like videos, letterheads, professional documents, circulars, pamphlets, or whatever it is, interviews. If I'm advertising anything for the purpose of promotion, if I'm advertising for the purpose of gaining publicity, making aware my firm's name to all, to solicit client, like in clause 6, in that case, that is not permissible. I am only allowed to use common CA logo, no any other logo. Only common CA logo to be used, not any other logo. Common CA logo that should not be, deformed or any other way changed. That should not be done. Only common CA logo to be used. There is a guideline given, CA logo guidelines that are required to be adhered to. Okay. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Okay. Now there is a doubt whether CA in practice is allowed to educate on YouTube, providing various TDS, GST courses through their website. See, CA in practice and uh, we'll see what businesses a CA in practice can do. So after this particular, in some time, there is a clause where we'll be seeing that, okay, what things or businesses are open for a CA in practice. So at that particular point in time, we'll see that in detail. Okay. Any doubt, guys? No? Okay. If no further doubts, let's take a quick 10-minute break, and after the break, we'll gather back. Okay. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. Hello everyone, welcome back to the session. Let's continue the topic and move to the next clause for today. Clause 8. So clause 8 talks about that if a chartered accountant in practice accepts a position as an auditor previously held by any other chartered accountant or certified auditor who has been issuing certificate under the restricted certificate rules, then in that case, and without first communicating to him in writing, in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So CA in practice accepting position as an auditor previously held by another auditor, yeah, another chartered accountant, another CA or certified auditor without, now this is very important, without first communicating with him in writing. There are few things that we need to understand over here. One is what is in writing. Second, what would tantamount to a communication, and accept position as an auditor. Which auditors we are talking about? These are the three things that we need to discuss. Okay. To understand this clause in particular detail. Now, let's start with uh, what is, what will cover as an auditor. What will cover, like which type of audit it will cover, basically. Okay. So, do you think like GST audit, tax audit will be covered under these scenarios? Like, for example, okay, the chartered accountant was doing GST audit or he was doing tax audit. Now there is a change, okay, in the tax auditor. Do you think that will be covered over here? What do you think? So yes, you are correct. So all types of auditor, like it's not only the auditor with respect to the company's audit, all audits will be covered. So yes, when I talk about auditor, this will include all types of audits, not only company's audit or statutory audit that is there, but it will cover tax audit, other audits also. So, for example, this will include stat audit, GST audit, tax audit, internal audit, concurrent audit, and etc. All types of audit will be covered. Now, when I talk about communicating in writing, what do I mean? What do I mean by in writing? Okay. So, communication with the retiring auditor is required to be done. Okay. In a manner that is provided to construe as that it was done in writing. Communication was done in writing. So, just I'll write it down here. Communication in writing would require the following. Okay, that is, we should send the communication. Okay, we should send the communication with a positive evidence of delivery. So there should be positive evidence of delivery to the returning auditor. Okay, so there should be a positive evidence of delivery to the returning auditor of like the delivery was done to the returning auditor, and that positive evidence of delivery should be there with us. We need to retain. Okay, now how we can get such evidence? In order to get this evidence, what we need to do is, what we need to do is either communicate by a letter through send through a register acknowledgement due. So send communication, letter through registered acknowledgement due. Okay, or by hand against written acknowledgement. Or you can say acknowledgement of communication from returning auditors email address registered with the institute. Or if you receive an acknowledgement of the communication by the returning auditor, acknowledgement of the communication from retiring auditor, okay, uh, retiring auditor's email address, and email address, that email address should be registered with ICAI. It should not be the case, okay, I have created a fake email address. Okay, let's say for example, ABC and company, I created an email address, abc1 at the gmail.com. See, I received a mail from ABC1 that they have received the communication. Whether this abc1 at the gmail.com is part of your registered email address with ICAI. If yes, then it's fine. Okay. But usually if you are creating fake email address, that will not be registered with ICAI. You need to have an acknowledgement of the communication from the email address which is registered with the ICAI. Or that email address is last known official email address. Last known official email address. For example, they might have issued audit report from that email address to the client. So that is the last known official email address. That is the case. Okay. So acknowledgement of the communication from retiring auditor's email ID. And D, or UDIN generated on UDIN portal. Okay. UDIN generated on UDIN portal for this communication. So there are guidelines given for that. So by following those guidelines, if you generate UDIN on UDIN portal, that is also, equivalent to getting the evidence, positive evidence of delivery. Now, what if you found premises logged in case, communication has been received back with the office found logged or something similar nature of, reason when you send through registered acknowledgement due or through such similar means, in that case it will be assumed that it has been delivered. So it will be deemed delivery in that case. Now, what if the firm is not found at the given registered address? Now, if there is no such found on the given registered address and the address is the same which is there in the institute's address, okay, in that case also it will be counted as a deemed delivery. Okay. So there is a concept of deemed delivery when either office is found locked or it is, office is not there on the registered address. Now, in case of government audits, okay, where there's a lack of time, where there's a lack of time in case of government audit. In government audit, you have to start the audit, at the time when it is being allotted to you. And, in that case, it becomes very difficult. We need to start urgently and, we need to communicate also. So how to be done in that particular point in time? So in that case, okay, in that case, audits of government companies, banks, or their branches, if they are made well within the time, okay, and we don't have the time to even communicate with the outgoing auditor because of the schedule time that there is, or we have sent the communication but we have not received a reply from the outgoing auditor, we can give conditional acceptance in that case. Okay, conditional acceptance can be given in case where there is lack of time. Now, what is conditional acceptance? Conditional acceptance means that, okay, I am accepting the appointment on a condition that I will receive, from the previous auditor that I can accept this appointment. If there will be any issue or if there is any concern that has been raised by previous auditor and where I am not allowed to accept this assignment because of the pending fees or any other thing, in that case this appointment will be held invalid. So conditional acceptance will be there. Final acceptance will be based on the information received from the previous auditor, and after taking all the information that has been received from him, we will give the final acceptance of the appointment. Okay. Now, why this is the scenario? Why this particular clause is there? We understood. Okay, clause 8 requires to communicate, but why? And what after doing communication? Let's say, for example, once the another returning auditor has communicated to us, what we should do with that communication. So, if you have received any information in communication, how to evaluate that information, that we will understand. We generally call it reason not to accept appointment. Reasons not to accept appointment. Now, if the communication that has been received, okay, if the communication that has been received provides what, if it provides that there is non-compliance to section 139 and 140 of Companies Act 2013, or non-payment, there is a non-payment of undisputed, again, undisputed audit fees, undisputed audit fees by auditees other than sick unit. Now, exception is sick units. If it is a sick unit, then fine. Otherwise, it is not. So, a non-payment of undisputed audit fees by auditees. Exception is a sick unit. And third, change in auditor is due to modified opinion. In that case, I should not be accepting the appointment because the retiring auditor, either, if it is non-compliance, I cannot accept. Number two, in non-payment of undisputed statutory fees, undisputed audit fees, then they have to pay the fees first. Then only I will accept the appointment. Number three, change in auditor is due to modified opinion because he issued a modified opinion and there has been a change in the auditor. That is again incorrect, and we should be, we should not be accepting such appointments. However, in the last case, there is an exception. Exception to the last case is where it has been, known, or the appointing auditor has a reason, to believe, or he has got the information, appropriate information to his satisfaction, that the attitude the retiring auditor was not proper and justified. Exception is when the attitude of retiring auditor was not proper and justified. If that is the case, then it is fine. Then we, need to understand why. Actually, the thing is, when there is a, modified opinion, we need to understand why there was a modified opinion. What is the background about that modified opinion? And accordingly, we need to take a decision. Now, if that modified opinion is because of the, actual modification that is required in the audit report, then yes. And if they are changing the auditor because of that modification, we will not accept the appointment. However, on the other hand, if the modification is because of the attitude of the retiring auditor, no, I'll give the modification, whatever they want to do. Even if the client is providing the information, even if the entity and the company has provided the information, but still I issue the modified opinion because I want to issue, they should suffer. In that case, I will accept the appointment because it is because of the attitude of the retiring auditor, which was not proper and justified. If the retiring auditor was proper, justified, had a valid reasons, I should not accept. If his reasons are not valid, I will accept. So the concept is we are not running a cartel kind of thing. Okay, why you remove this person? No, you have to appoint this person only. No, if that person or retiring auditor is not justified, then okay, I can accept the appointment. I will not create inconvenience to the client because we have a repute attached to this profession. But where the client or the company is incorrect, we cannot cross or throw our other fellow member under the bus and we accept the appointment. So that is also incorrect. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? No? Okay. Let's see the clause 9. Clause 9 is when a chartered accountant in practice accepts an appointment as an auditor of the company. So if he accepts an appointment of an auditor of a company without first ascertaining whether the requirements of 13940 are complied with. So if CA in practice accepts the appointment, okay, uh, accepts the appointment with respect to the auditor of the company as auditor of the company without first ascertaining whether the requirements are basically the requirements of section 139 and 140 of Companies Act are complied or not, are complied. Okay. Or have been duly complied. If that is the case, then he can accept. But if he accepts the appointment without first ascertaining, then he is guilty of professional misconduct. First, he need to ascertain whether section 139 and 40 of the Companies Act are properly complied or not. If they are not complied, then he needs to ask the company to comply and then, and do the appointment in that way. If he does not ascertain and if there is a non-compliance, he is at fault. Even in the case of compliance, let's say, for example, he did not ascertain whether 139, 140 are complied or not. Okay. And somehow, still the company was complying to 139 and 140, still the chartered accountant in practice can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. It is obligatory for the incoming auditor to ascertain whether the appropriate procedure is followed or not. Section 139 and section 140 you might be already seeing in corporate law. Okay, so I will not cover again that particular section in detail here. But as I said, they need to see the compliance with 139 and 140 in detail. Any doubts? Any doubts? There's a detailed procedure given under 139 and 140 how an auditor should be appointed. In that case, that procedure is required to be followed. Okay. Now, the 139 and 140 also talks about removal of an auditor. Okay. And there are guidelines given with respect to the removal of auditor and what is the auditor's responsibility that is required to be done. So we'll see that in some time when we'll go with the council general guidelines and everything. What is the requirement with respect to the removal of the auditor? What auditor should do? Then we have a clause 10. Clause 10 talks about basically when a chartered accountant in practice charges or offered to charges any professional employment fees which are based on percentage of profit or contingent upon finding. In that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So if he charges or offers to charges, then it is a problem. On percentage of profits or contingent upon finding of events or results. Charges or offers to charge, okay, fees in respect of any professional work, okay, which are based on percentage of profit, either percentage of profit or based on contingent upon events, okay, which are based on contingent upon finding or results of such events. Okay, in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. However, there is an exception to this. Okay, there is an exception to this, and that exception is somewhere, again specified in Regulation 192, fees. So Regulation 192 specifies fees which could be upon contingent upon findings or percentage of profit. Okay, so Regulation 192 fees has provided some exceptions, kind of. That is, one, in case of receiver or liquidator, receiver slash liquidator. In case of receiver of liquidator, it is percentage on realization of or disbursement of asset. So percentage of realization or percentage of disbursement of asset. In case of auditor of cooperative society, auditor of cooperative society, okay, the fees can be charged percentage of paid up capital or percentage of working capital or percentage of gross income slash profits. Okay, so that can be done. Third, in case of valuer, okay, in case of valuer, for the purpose of direct tax and duties, valuer for direct taxes and duties, percentage of value of property. Then we have management consultancy services. Okay. Now, in case of management consultancy services, okay, uh, that will be decided from council. That will be decided by council from time to time. What would be the percentage and what would be the criteria, to calculate. So, what would be contingent? So, management consultancy service will have as decided by council from time to time. Fifth, basically fundraising service. In case of fundraising service, okay, it is based on percentage of the fund rate. It is based on percentage of fund raised. In case of debt recovery service, debt recovery service, it will be based on percentage of debt recovered. And in case of cost optimization, cost optimization service, that can have percentage of benefit derived. The last one is any other service may be prescribed. But that prescribed services, there are three services which are prescribed. Any other services as may be prescribed. And that has three services which are as of now prescribed that can charge on percentage. That is acting as insolvency professional, non-assurance service, and sorry, there are one acting as a professional, insolvency professional, and non-assurance service to non-audit client. In that case, in these cases, you can charge percentage upon percentage of any amount or based on contingent upon finding and results. So subject to these regulations, you cannot charge, but in these cases, you can charge based on percentage or contingent upon finding and results. Any doubt? Any doubt with respect to this? Okay. If no further doubts, then let's proceed forward. Okay. Last point. Any other service as may be prescribed. Okay. So when I talk about any other service as may be prescribed, there are two services. Acting as an insolvency professional where you can charge percentage basis, upon contingent, or upon contingent basis based on finding and results. In the second case, it is uh, as per the if you provide non-assurance service to non-audit client, in that case you can charge based on the percentage or upon contingent, finding upon results and whatever you have in the current in that scenario. So in these two cases, insolvency professional, non-assurance service to non-audit client, this particular clause will be not applicable. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. Then we have a clause 11. I'll cover first all the clauses and then I'll go to the questions reason, because a particular, non-compliance can be related to multiple clauses. So when I'll discuss the questions, it may relate to one from the, one of this particular clause, one of this particular. It may happen that, there are two different clauses from two different parts or different even schedule that is applicable. So in that case, let's discuss the question first. Okay, understand all the clauses and then in detail we'll solve the questions. Because in exam it may happen that you might be getting a question, but it will attract multiple non-compliances, or the member in question may be guilty of professional misconduct under multiple clauses. In that case, it would be helpful for us if we see from a holistic approach rather than clause by clause. Okay. Clause 11, very important clause. That is, if CA in practice engages in any business or profession or occupation other than profession of charter accountant, other than profession of charter accountant. Now, that is, unless it is permitted by council, okay, then it is fine, otherwise not. We'll see what is permitted by council and exceptions to that. But there is one more exception that I want to discuss first, which is a charter accountant in practice can be a director of a company. CA in practice can be a director, but not whole-time director or managing director. Okay. He can be a director, but not whole-time director or managing director. Okay. And unless any of his partners are interested in that such entity. So for example, what happens is, let's say for example, generally, let's say CA in practice is there. Now my partner is interested in that entity. Okay. In such company as an auditor, means my partner is auditing that company. I cannot be a director of that company because otherwise it will be a conflict of interest. I will, the auditor may get disqualified in that case. So, member in practice can be a director provided his partner is not an auditor in that company. Okay. And he's not a whole-time director or managing director. Now, there are two regulations, regulation 190A and 191. Very important regulations, both are 190A and 191. Why these regulations I'm talking about? Because these regulations, okay, provide that chartered accountant not to engage in any other business or occupations, means they need special permission, or part-time, there are two scenarios where there is a special permission or there is a general permission. Okay. Now, what are these special permission or general permission? That is also there. So, Regulation 198 talks about that CA in practice is not supposed to engage in any other business or occupation, except where permission is granted with the resolution of the council. Regulation 191 talks about that that a chartered accountant in practice may act as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, advisor for cost, financial taxation matters, or take up any appointment in the central government, state government, court of law, other legal authority, may act as a secretary in his professional capacity, provided he is not in employment on full-time basis. So that is allowed. So let us see both of the regulations and see what are the scenarios in both cases. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me open that particular list. Okay. Okay. Now, in Regulation 190A that we were talking about, okay, there are two kind of lists which are given. Where there is a general resolution, means permissions are generally granted to a chartered accountant, okay, which is there in your module also on page 19.79. That is a general resolution where permission is already granted for a chartered accountant, okay, to engage in that particular activity. So, members of the institute in practice may generally be permitted to engage in the following categories of occupations. Means this is open for the chartered accountant in practice to engage into, for which no specific permission from council would be necessary. Here, I do not need any specific permission from council to engage myself in these activities. What are these activities? One, employment under chartered accountants, employment under chartered accountant in practice or firm of the chartered accountants. I can get an employment, okay, under a CA in practice when I'm in practice. Again, employment under CA in practice or firm of chartered accountant when I am in practice. While being in practice, I can be in employment under CA in practice. Number two, private tutorship. I can take up private tutorship. Number three, authorships of books and articles. Number four, holding life insurance agency license limited for the purpose of getting renewal commissions. Means I am holding the life insurance agency license, but not for getting the commission on the new policies, but only for the renewal. Okay. attending classes and appearing for any examination, holding public elective offices such as MP, MLA, MLC, honorary office leadership of charitable, educational, or other non-commercial organizations, acting as a notary public, justice of peace, special executive magistrate, if there are some provisions or laws time being in force, which under which the appointment of a chartered accountant in practice is done as a notary public, justice of peace, special executive magistrate, then it is fine. Part-time tutorship under the coaching organization of the institute. Part-time tutorship under coaching organization of the institute, like board of studies. For a CA in practice. Valuation of papers, acting as a paper setter, head examiner or moderator. Okay. For any examination. Any examination. Editorship of professional journals. Acting as a surveyor, loss assessor under Insurance Act. Acting as a recovery consultant in the banking sector. Owning agricultural land and carrying out agriculture activity. If these are the things, the permission is no permission is required to be taken from council. There is one question: Can a director be an auditor of the company? No, that is the first condition. Under disqualifications 140, 141, both sections. They provide who can be an auditor of the company. So I'll suggest read that section carefully. Okay. Specific resolution. Specific resolution means I need member in practice needs specific approval from council before engaging in these occupations. So member of the institute in practice requires specific and prior approval of council. Till now, no specific permission from the council was necessary for member in practice of institute in practice in these cases. Now it is required for these cases. Number one, full-time or part-time employment in business concern, provided the member or his relative do not hold substantial interest in that concern. So full-time or part-time employment, provided member or his relative do not hold substantial interest in that concern. Second, full-time or part-time employment in non-business concern. Non-business means like charitable or something like that, non-profit. Third, office of managing director or whole-time director. We saw with the director, but if you want to be managing director, full-time director, then you need a specific permission. Interest in family business concerns. Okay. Or concern in which interest has been acquired as a result of relationship and in the management of which no active part is taken. Now, if you have an interest in family business, okay, such interest is, coming as a part of inheritance, succession or partition of the family business, then you need to take first prior approval from the council. Interest in educational institute, like school, college, private organization of educational institute, something like that. Part-time, full-time lecturership of courses other than those related to the institute examination conducted under the auspices of the institute or regional councils of their branches. If I'm teaching CA related course other than under the institute, regional council or branches, then I'm required to take prior approval. Private coaching, private CA coaching would fall under this point number 6. So if there is a private CA coaching, in that case, the member in practice is required to take specific prior approval from the council. Part-time or full-time tutorship, any other educational institute other than coaching organization of institute. So if I'm, taking part-time or full-time tutorship or under any educational institute, then yes, again, I'm required to take approval, specific approval from the institute. Editorship of journals other than the professional journals. Any business or occupation for which executive committee considered that the permission may be granted. So as may be prescribed, kind of. So in these cases, special permission, specific prior permission is required to be taken from council. So a lot of you had a doubt. How about CA in practice having their private CA coaching? This falls under this special category. They have to take prior permission from the council, prior approval from the council. Then only they can engage in those what is it areas. Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? Again, like being a promoter, being only a director, solicitor is fine. Not being like, if till the time it is not a managing director, whole time director, it is fine. If it is a managing director or whole time director, it is not fine. Then the next clause that I want to discuss in detail is clause 12. I'll just write the exception over here for this one. That is regulation 190A and 191. Okay, which has two categories, 190A and 191. 190A provides general resolution where no specific permission is required, and special resolution where specific permission is required. One 191 is having overriding effect. Okay, 191 is having overriding effect. Effect on 190A with certain categories are allowed directly. Certain categories are allowed directly. So as per regulation 191. Clear? And just a minute. Okay. So these are the two regulations that will be very important for this particular clause. So the difference between, so there is a doubt, difference between 6 and 7 of special resolution. 6 is full-time lectureship and tutorship, full-time and part-time lectureship of the courses other than relating to the institutes. Examination conducted under institutes or regional councils. Okay. So if we are, getting into a part-time or full-time lectureship of courses other than the institute examinations, then we will be required to take prior approval or specific, permission from council. Now in point 7, if we are, getting any full-time or part-time tutorship under any educational institute other than the coaching institute of examination, other than coaching organization of institute. Now in 7, it may be of CA related, It may be, CA related examination, but if it is not under the institute, then also we need to take a special permission. In point number 6, it is not related to CA, but under any, like including, conducted under institute or regional council or their branches. Sorry, not including the institute, regional council, or their branches. So in 6, I'm not talking about CA courses. I'm talking about other than institute examinations. In 7, I'm talking about educational institute other than institutes, which may include CA examination. Okay, so just let me write down for your clarification. It is other than CA exam, outside institute. If I'm teaching outside institute, other than CA exam. Not only CA exam, it says that institute examination, they include post qualification examination also. Just for your reference, let's say for example, you have various post qualification certifications examination conducted by institute that will also be part of institute examination. So other than CA and other institute examinations, other institutes exam. If I'm teaching other than other CA and other institutes exam, in that case, I need specific permission. Let me simplify it. Other than CA plus other post qualification exam of institute. Okay. In that case, I need specific permission. In 7, I'm talking about under any other educational institute. Okay. Now, in that case, any other educational institute, I'm not talking about exam. It can be CA or any other exam. So that is the difference between 6 and 7. Okay. I hope now it is clear. Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? No? Okay. Let us see clause 12. Clause 12 is when CA in practice allows a person not being a member of institute or a member being his partner, okay, not being his partner, to sign on his behalf. So when a CA in practice allows any person other than specified below to sign on his behalf or on behalf of his firm or on behalf of his firm, and what he allows to sign, any balance sheet, P&L, then report or FS, financial statement. In that case, that CA in practice will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, other than specified below is star mark. I'll put a star mark. Now, this star mark, which are those other than specified below? Ones are member of institute in practice. Second, or member being his partner. So if a member who is institute member of institute in practice but not being partner, still fine. If the member is his partner, still he can sign. But other than these two, if anyone signs on behalf of on his behalf or on his firm's behalf, then it's a problem for him. Now let us see the second detail over here. I'll say I share because I'm talking about what he allows to sign any balance sheet P&L report on FS. What about other documents? What about other documents? So I'll write it hash over here. Council has clarified that there is a power to sign routine documents. Okay. Where a professional opinion or authentication is not required to be expressed. And that power can be delegated to the rest of the people, okay, of the firm or of the you can say uh, which are there like members, other members in that case. So this power to sign routine documents can be delegated to others, kind of powers to sign routine document can be delegated to others. Now the question comes, uh, like what are the routine documents basically we are talking about? Which are these routine documents? So let's understand this. One, issue of audit queries during audit. Second, asking for information. Okay. Or issue of questionnaire. Then we have letter forwarding draft observations. Then we have stamping of vouchers or schedule prepared for the purpose of audit. Then we have acknowledging or carrying on routine correspondence with client. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Okay. Or issue of questionnaire. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memorandum of cash verification. Then we have issue of memor Okay, or others where physical verification recording results. Cash verification, same issue of memo of other physical verification. Issuing acknowledgements for record produced. Then we have a raising bills, attending routine matters with related to tax. Again, now when I say attending routine matters with related to tax, then I need to see section 288 of Income Tax Act, like who are allowed to appear before authorities, who are known as accountant and everything. Okay, and any other routine activity. If these are the scenarios there, then power can be delegated to sign the routine documents. Otherwise, no. Clear? Any doubt? So that is my clause 12. Pretty simple. If I allow other than the specified person to sign on my behalf, on my firm's behalf, any balance sheet, P&L report or FS, then I am held guilty for professional misconduct. Now, what are those specified person? Member of institute, in practice, or member being my partner. And there is a power to sign routine document. Power to sign routine documents can be delegated to others. And what are the routine documents is specified below that we discussed just now. So that was, these were the 12 clauses of part 1. Now, quickly I'll cover part 2 because part 2 is on the same line as the part 1. There is no difference in part 2 and part 1 with respect to understanding the clause. So we can quickly close part 2 even. Okay. So clause 1 of part 2 is similar, that pays or allows or agrees to pay directly, indirectly, any person, any share, okay, in the emoluments of the employment undertaken by him. If I share any part of my, compensation, salary, anything that I receive from the employment, and if I share with any person, if I allow or if I agree to pay that person directly or indirectly, then I will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Means it should not be the case that, okay, I am acquiring the job by paying the amount. Okay, I'll give you commission, 2 months salary, get me the job. If I'm doing that, then there is a problem. I should not be doing that. Okay. So job or any such thing should be procured or retained with own professional capabilities. For example, give me promotion, I'll give you 10% of my hike the salary each month. Not a bad deal, but that is not allowed. You cannot do that. So again, part 2 is member in service. So instead of now member in practice, I'll write member in service, CA in service. CA in service pays, allows, or agrees to pay directly or indirectly, any share in emoluments of the employment. If he does that, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? Pretty simple. There is no, further detail is there. Now, a lot of people, you might be wondering what is this word, emoluments. Okay. Emoluments means basically fees, salary, profit from the employment or office. Okay. So kind of fees, salary, or profit from employment. Okay. If I share any of such thing, then I will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Simple. Clause 2. There is nothing much in this. Clause 2. Clause 2 talks about if CA in service accepts or agrees to accept any part of fees, profit slash gains from lawyer, CA, broker, broker who are engaged by such company, who are engaged by company, firm, person, agent, or customer of such company for which I am working, basically, who are engaged by company, firm, person, agent, or customer of company okay as a commission or gratification, as a commission or gratification. If I accept this part as a commission or gratification, any part of fees, profit, or gains as a commission or gratification from lawyer, CA, broker who are engaged by the company, firm, person, agent, or customer of the company where I'm engaged, okay, in that case, I will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? So if I accept any such thing, then it is, I will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So this is kind of, maintaining high level of ethics in my company, that I should not recommend anyone just because he's paying this some cut to me. For example, I'll go and ask a vendor, do you want orders? I can fix up with my company. I can fix you up with my company. My company will give you orders, and in turn you need to pay me 10% of whatever revenue you earn. Simple. You also get benefited. I also get benefited. But that is not allowed as per clause 2. Clause 2 says no, you cannot do this kind of arrangement. You cannot go to any person who is broker, agent, lawyer, CA, okay, engaged by the company, and you cannot accept any part of fees, profit, and gains from these people as a commission or gratification. So these are the two clauses only in part 2 of first schedule. There is nothing much. Again, there are two clauses in part 3 and one clause in part 4. There is nothing much difficult in that and detailed in that. We can cover quickly if you want. So part 3 of first schedule. Now this is applicable to all members. Clause 1 of part 3. Being a fellow, not being a fellow of institute, acts as a fellow. Simple. Not being a fellow. Okay. Acts as a fellow member. If I disclose that I'm a fellow member when I'm not, I'm guilty of professional misconduct based on clause 1 of part 3. Clause 2 does not supply information called for or does not comply with the requirement asked for now by whom, like information called for or requirement asked for by whom? By institute, council, okay, committee, then director, basically director discipline, then board of discipline, disciplinary committee, QRB, quality review board, or appellate authority. If I does not supply information or does not comply with the requirement asked for by institute, council, committees, director, discipline, or any of the authority that is mentioned below, in that case, I will be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 2, part 3 of first schedule. Pretty simple. Clause 3, simple, pretty simple. That is that I provide false information while inviting professional work or responding to tenders or while advertising. All these three things, as per clause 6 and clause 7 of part 1. So when all these three things are done as per the clause 6, 7 and 6 and 7 of part 1 and I provide false information while doing that, and I provide false information while doing that, okay, in that case, I will be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 3 of part 3. Again, I'm not talking about that I'm doing in anything which is not in compliance with clause 6 and 7. I'm saying when all these three activities are as per clause 6 and 7, means they are in compliance. So, let me rewrite this. Are in compliance as per clause 6 and 7, okay, of part 1. In that case, providing false information is a problem, not the compliance with the clause 6 and 7. That is clause 3 of part 3. Uh, there is one question. Any member of the institute, even if it belongs to another firm, can sign on behalf of a CA in practice? Yes, he can do, subject to certain conditions. That is possible. Let's say, for example, audit is done by one of the CA, but signing partner is different. Joint auditors, or in case when the auditor who did the audit is not available because of on medical grounds or anything, so he can ask another CA to sign on his behalf. But that other CA has a responsibility to verify and everything. That we will see when we'll deal with these standards. When we'll go in detail of these standards at that particular point in time, I'll come back on this particular topic and we'll discuss in detail. So, what is the role and responsibility of the signing partner or the signing member? Now, if I can cover part 4, there are two clauses, and we will be done with first schedule. Part 4 of first schedule. The point here is that it is again for all members, but here it is only other misconduct, not professional misconduct. So whatever is done as per these clauses, that is other misconduct. I will not say professional misconduct. Clause 1, simple. Held guilty by any civil, held guilty by any civil or criminal court. Okay. That should be for an offense which is punishable with imprisonment for term not exceeding 6 months. Why? Because exceeding 6 months will go in second schedule. So not exceeding 6 months will be here if he is held guilty of by any civil or criminal court. Okay. Then he will be held guilty of other misconduct under part 4, clause 1. Clause 2. In the opinion of the council, the member has brought disrepute to the profession. So, in the opinion of the council, brings disrepute to the profession or institute as a result of his action, whether or not related to his professional work. As a result of his action and whether or not related to professional work. Means it could be related to any other area also, like personal nature. If you have brought disrepute in the opinion of the council on the profession or institute, then you can be held guilty of other misconduct, not professional misconduct, other misconduct. So these are the two simple clauses with respect to part 4. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Okay. See, we covered uh, first schedule in entirety, full cover. We have covered in detail everything. Okay. After this lecture, please go and revise the whole first schedule, all the clauses, part 1, 2, 3, 4 in detail. Read it from the institute's module. That is very necessary so that you can have understanding what we discussed today. This understanding is necessary. Trust me. So, after the lecture, please revise whatever we have discussed today. And in next lecture, I will be covering the second schedule in detail clause wise with questions, because we will be covering the second schedule in the first half of the lecture itself. And after the break, majority of the time we will be devoting to the questions. So that, we can cover the questions in practical side of this particular professional ethics topic. Okay? Any doubts, guys? No? If no further doubts, then I propose let's close the session and I'll see you in the next lecture. Okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you for participating. I'll see you in the next lecture.